Folks, welcome to Sunday Night Stock Charts Live. This is Bob Desmond over at the Contrarian Trader, and welcome. The futures have just opened up here. We're looking at the NASDAQ 100, and we are down, wow, 1.19%. Big gap down here. Let's let these futures settle out some. And remember that this is really just an indicator of where we may open up tomorrow morning. Could get worse, could get better. Let's come back in a few minutes. Let's touch upon some headlines and some facts that came out last week. First, let's talk about the headlines that came out over the weekend. This is not necessarily the headlines, more of an article and commentary. Supply chain disruptions impact on global growth. $570 billion and growing. Was this a shock? Where's the financial news media been on this? We've been talking about this for weeks on end. Now all of a sudden, this has become a surprise. So yeah, we're going to have supply chain disruptions. We knew this. Shocking how late to the game these people are. Here's a bigger problem. It'll be really, really bad. China faces financial Armageddon with 85% of businesses set to run out of cash in 3 months. China is in a lot of trouble. In particular, the Chinese Communist Party, because they have completely bungled the handling of this virus. I don't know if I'm allowed to say CV, the whole word, on YouTube, because I think the video gets censored. So I'm going to be careful here and just say CV. Besides the fact that they bungled it, we need to keep in mind that the Chinese have spent $1 trillion of cash, borrowed another $1 trillion of cash to defend the peg against the dollar. As the dollar rises, it costs them more and more to defend that peg against the dollar. So they're running out of cash quickly, and their businesses, because of this disruption, are not producing any cash. There's nothing coming in. And the key for the Chinese Communist Party to survive is incoming cash flow from around the globe. It's like one big Ponzi scheme. You've heard of the ghost cities over in China? Well, to keep that Ponzi scheme going, you need brand new cash flow coming in constantly. The problem is there is none. So what do they do next? This time last year, after the Chinese New Year, you had 93% of people back to work. I read this earlier. Here. Only about 25% of people have returned to work since the Chinese New Year ended. Think about that. China has ground to a halt. So, serious issues. And this is more of a... I'm not getting political here. Don't people get crazy and say you're getting political. I can't believe all the comments here. You guys are on fire tonight. Welcome, everybody. Love it. Love the passion. Good stuff. Bill, Eric, Rook Roofing, RL. Hey, RL, good stuff. Steve, welcome, everyone. So, yeah, the Nevada primaries the other day, and Bernie Sanders, no shock, won by a mile. I don't believe that Bloomberg was in that primary, or caucus, whatever it is. The only reason why I'm bringing this up is that the markets love Trump. There's no doubt about it. The markets love Trump. If this coronavirus begins to have an adverse impact on the U.S. economy, I mean, the U.S. economy is already under a great deal of pressure, as evidenced on Friday. I'm going to go over the economic data that came out. And this is why you saw a reversal of the U.S. dollar last week. If the U.S. economy begins to feel more pressure and we begin to fall apart really, really quickly, and you have Bernie Sanders leading the Democratic Party, and if you begin to see him surge in the polls relative to President Trump, you're going to see this market take a nosedive. You want to talk about a black swan event? That's a black swan event. If Bloomberg becomes a real serious challenger against the president, that will not be good for the markets because he likes taxes and he's a nanny state type of guy. He was mayor of New York City. He doesn't like people having any more than 16 ounces of soda. I mean, this guy gets granular. So while he'll be less worse for the markets than Bernie Sanders, both of them will be dramatically, they'll both adversely impact the stock market, and the markets will forecast their displeasure well before Election Day. So keep an eye on the polls. Now, on Friday, we had the PMI numbers come out. And I got to tell you, they were not pretty. We saw a decline versus the prior month on the manufacturing PMI. Remember what a purchasing manager is. He's the guy that says, okay, we're looking optimistic. The board is happy. I can spend money. I can go buy desks. We can buy capital goods to invest in our business because things are looking good. I'm feeling good about it. We're going to put money to work here and reinvest into the company. So manufacturing saw a decline versus the prior month, but and keep in mind, a read above 50 is a sign of expansion. A read below 50 is a sign of contraction. Now, 70% of our economy is non-manufacturing. So it's services. The services sector, we didn't just miss. We took a nosedive, a swan dive off of a cliff. The actual read was 49.4 for last month, or for February's read. Horrible, a horrible read. So, not good for the U.S. economy, and the coronavirus really, CV, sorry YouTube, CV really hasn't even really impacted us yet. The Koreans, yes. The Chinese, absolutely. The Japanese, yes. Italy is now in a state of emergency. So the rest of the globe is being impacted to a lesser extent, far lesser extent, the United States so far. So keep an eye on these economic data points as they roll out, because if you see unemployment begin to spike up, inflation begin to spike up, and that's another topic I want to touch upon, inflation. You had Bullard go on CNBC, Fed Governor Bullard, and his solution to the crisis for Corona is to cut rates. There's only one problem, is that if you have less goods being produced and you make more cheap money available to the consumer, what happens to the price of the goods that are being sold? They go through the roof. That's inflationary. They did the same thing back in 1973 when after Nixon took us off the gold standard. The Saudis said, listen, OPEC said, listen, we want gold. We still want gold. We don't want your paper. So what they did is the Federal Reserve, they cut rates. What happened to oil? Through the roof. Here we go again. They never learn. I want to revisit gold. I haven't gone over this chart in a while. And we're going to just walk through where gold is, not in US dollar terms. In US dollar terms, we have yet, along with the Swiss franc, I'm going to go over that in a moment, have yet to hit all-time highs. I have been saying this for a couple of years now. We've been building a position in gold, silver, the miners. I'm not in gold, to be honest. I own the gold miners. Silver, yes. In euro terms, last week, all-time highs in euro terms. British pound, all-time highs in pound terms. Japanese yen, all-time highs in yen terms. Aussie dollar, all-time highs, you bet. That was my alert. We just broke through something here. Yeah, my alert got taken out. We just broke support. a support level I was watching. Right here, 93.15, 93.7 was the low here. I think it was 93.15. Maybe 93.18. We just took out a support level I was watching. All right, so we continue to weaken up here. Now we're down 1.4. We're probably coming down here to 92.84 on the NASDAQ 100. We'll come back. Let's let this continue to play out. All right. Let's wrap this up and we'll go to the charts. Canadian dollar terms, all-time highs. Swiss franc, not quite yet, but we are right on the doorstep of all-time highs. The laggard, the US dollar, which began to weaken up last week. We're still up, barely on the week, but we closed well off the highs of the week, given this data here, the PMI numbers. Dollar took a nosedive. Let's get to the charts. I know everybody's begging for that. Let's do it. Let me just check on some comments here. Dixie's down. Still holding 99 though. Gold is up 1%. Silver half. Okay. All right, let's do this. We continue to weaken up here. We're going lower on the NASDAQ 100. Let's take a look at the dollar. They're attempting to fight back here. We're back above a support level. I don't know whether or not this is going to hold. It's still very, very early. Here's what I would do. I would do this. I would watch for create a tripwire here. And let's create an alert. Because if, you know what, let's just do this. If the dollar breaks this support level at 99.23, you're probably going to see gold rip. I'm going to set 2 alerts here. All right. Let's check out gold. Gold up 1.7%. My God. We have RSI at 92.766 now. Very, very overbought. Very, very overbought. On a daily basis, on a 4-hour basis, these are 4-hour charts here. Very, very overbought. So while I'm bullish on gold, I think we're going to get a pullback here in the next day or so. There's a lot of fear out there. But remember, the powers that be hate gold rallying. They don't want it rallying because it's a competitor to the US dollar. And they will do anything to get this market back up again. Problem is, if they cut rates, the markets may go up. But I think that gold is just going to go on a tear even further. Let's check out the S&P 500. Wow. Down 1.33%. So if you're looking to open up a short position right now, you can't. You can't. On a 4-hour basis, we're oversold relative to the third standard deviation Bollinger Band. Frankly, I'll be looking to book profits tomorrow morning if we open up like we are right now or lower. Then we'll wait for a counter trend rally and then look to lean back to the short side yet again. RSI, it's going to be very difficult for the Nasdaq or the S&P to hold RSI sub 20 overnight. So at some point in time between now and tomorrow morning, we're going to get a rally back. Does it create a higher low and then roll over? It could quite possibly do so. Let's check out, I think I have the Dow up here. Check out the Dow futures. Down 1.26%. RSI at 18.69. Very, very oversold. Oil. We'll go with the light sweet price. Wow. Oil closed off the highs of the week last week, but we held a breakout. We had broken out 2 weeks ago. And I went over on the weekend commentary with members that the chart of the XLE, let's bring it up. The chart of the XLE was flashing, that's the energy sector, was flashing a bear flag setup. Here you have it. So obviously this is not open right now, but you can bet your bottom dollar that tomorrow, if oil holds the pressure it's seeing right now, you're going to see the energy sector break this lower band of support. And honestly, I've been warning about this, that they have been dying to defend the price of oil to keep frackers from laying off workers. Because those are Trump voters. So this is not good. This is bad. Let's go back to the 4-hour charts. Let's check out bonds. Bonds are surging. You have RSI on the 10-year note at 83.25. I just don't think it could hold this move higher. Check out palladium. It's up, but just barely holding support. Initially, it gapped down. It hit gap down and reversed. Watch palladium. A lot of volatility in palladium tonight. Watch for a break below the 2600 level on palladium. If that breaks, that means that there's some trouble in the palladium market. Platinum. And we're going to go back to the stock market futures. I'll check back in. Platinum up slightly off the highs. Nothing much going on there. Let's check out nat gas. Nat gas down 1.68%. Weak. And it's probably going to get weaker. I'm interested in commodities right now, in particular proteins. The Chinese, uh, they're having a lot of problems with their livestock. A lot of it's dying, and they're now importing livestock from the United States. Inflationary, not much happening here. Cattle, not much happening. Okay. All right. I want to check out the Forex market. Let's go to the euro. The euro is very strong on Friday. It's down at current. And they're the biggest trading partner with the Chinese. So, you know, as bad as things are looking in the United States right now, things are worse in other areas. The yen is broken out, surprisingly. It has recaptured the support level. Now it's attempting to hold on to that support level. We'll be watching the yen. That's the second largest component of the Dixie basket, with the euro being the largest component. So if the yen rallies and you have a flat euro, that means the dollar can weaken up a little bit. Let's check out some comments. Hey, Denny, haven't seen you in a while. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Welcome. Steve, go up 1%. RL, Bernie Swan. Hey, Richard, how you doing? I got your email. Thank you very much for the email, and I would have replied a lot sooner, so my apologies. I went to a spam folder, and I rarely go in there to check it out, but I do every once in a while, so thank God I did. Thanks for the email. Appreciate it. Bitcoin, good. Thanks, RL. We'll go to Bitcoin. Bob, has gold broken out of a macro several year cup and handle formation? We'll take a look at it. But yeah, it has broken out of it did so a while ago. We'll bring it up. I'll take a look at it for you. Dow futures down almost 400. Okay, let's go to Bitcoin. The VIX has to be surging. Do I have the VIX up here? I never go to the VIX on Thinkorswim. I don't even know if it's on here. It should be on here, you'd think. I don't see it. You know the symbol on the futures market for the VIX? I'm not seeing it. If somebody knows and want to throw it in there. VXX? Hey, Pat. I've never pulled this up before. Is this open? This is as of Friday. This is not open. We need a future. Somebody has it there. Please let me know and I'll throw it up. I don't want to spend too much time here, waste people's time. While I'm looking for this, if I could ask you to hit the like button, I'd really appreciate that. Thank you very much. I always forget to ask that. Nope, I don't have it here. That's not live. Okay, let's go to the macro view of. Yeah, you're funny, Pat. We were talking about that on Friday, right? Let's go to the macro view of gold. All right. VIXY. Yeah, but these are ETFs. No, they're not open right now. You got it, Rich. I was going to do space too. All right, let's go to gold really quick. So the question was, do we have a macro breakout on gold? The answer is yes. And it's one of the reasons why I believe in multi-time frame analysis. So would I call this a cup and handle formation? No, I wouldn't. We need to get back up here or up here and then begin to slope down and then break out of that sloped handle, and that's a cup with handle formation. Right now, if you wanted to say, okay, maybe this is a saucer with handle, 6 of one, half dozen of the other. Either way, we're building the right side of a base. Where are we right now on gold? Yeah, you can see we're already backing off here. What do we hit? 16.84 the ounce. That brings us right about here. So we have some real serious resistance right up in this neighborhood. So definitely a macro breakout. Technically, this is why I started looking at the miners and gold and whatnot, is that I was looking at this for the longest time, watching for a breakout of this wedge formation. And then we got it here in June of 2019. And ever since then, it's been off to the races. And nobody's been paying attention to it. All these slick back Wall Street guys, they spit on gold. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen. Now who's laughing? No, I wouldn't call this a cup with handle formation. It just doesn't fit the criteria. You need to creep up to the prior peak and then gently, very orderly slope back down in a monthly chart, maybe 4 or 5 months of a down sloping handle on very light volume, descending light volume, and then you get your breakout, and then you buy on a break above the pivot point, the prior high. That's technically when you're supposed to buy on a couple handle formation. Let's pretend that this was a couple handle formation here. Here's the handle. I would have bought the breakout this month. I was on TrendSpider, and I said, this is going to be a retest of the breakout point. When I was on that webinar on the 9th, which was 2 weeks ago tonight, I said, we're going higher. We're going to break out. This is only a retest. Sure enough, it was a retest, and here we are 2 weeks later. So gold looking very good. Good stuff. Let's go to it. Thanks, RL. VXH. Duh. VHX20. It's not giving it to me. It's not giving it to me. Nope. All right, let's go to some chart requests, and then we'll go back to the futures. Where's Richard's request? INSG. So it held the 849 mark last week. Still leans to that third standard deviation Bollinger Band. RSI good. Monthly charts looking good. Weekly, but extended. Weekly. You know, if we rally through 973 and do a retest, it can continue higher. But that 973 mark, critical resistance. Daily chart. It's holding the breakout. We broke out here on a daily basis on the 19th. Retest 1, retest 2. Spinning top formations. A little bit of indecision, but it's holding support. That's what matters most. The only thing that sticks in the back of my mind is the monthly chart and its price relation to the 3D Bollinger Band. But it looks good. It looks healthy. Nice consolidation here. We're in the middle of a trading range. 973, close above it. You get a retest. I would be okay with opening up a position with a stop loss right below it. Keep it simple. And not worry about the monthly chart yet until we start trading up and above it yet again, which will probably happen on a breakout. So I think overall the chart looks good on all time frames. Stokes are hooking up on a 4-hour base. The only concern you're going to have to deal with, and it doesn't look like it's been a bother of late yet, but it will at some point in time, is the health of the overall market. Now, let's see. SPCE. All right, there's not much data on the monthly. Skip that. Weekly, a lot of topping action last week. Daily. I'll keep it simple. We break out above resistance here and the market begins to bounce back. It's a buy. Stop loss right below $30.72. Four-hour chart. Very nice. Very similar to the daily chart. Again, you get a breakout above resistance. Ideally, a retest of breakout point. Stop loss right below 30.72. Get long. But if it closes down below that 30.72 mark, I would exit. Because it's very speculative. I mean, this is extremely overbought. If anybody knows me, you know I don't like being all too close to that third standard deviation Bollinger Band. I'm a profit taker at those levels. You know, but it appears to be digesting the gains well. It can trade sideways and then resume the uptrend. So we just don't go selling after a couple of days of consolidation. What's in the past is in the past. So overall, it's still looking pretty good. What else do we have? I didn't go to Bitcoin. Danny, I didn't forget you. I think RL asked for that as well. SPY. Really not going to make too much of a difference right now. Might as well just go with the Thinkorswim view and deal in real time. We're coming down here. Ultimately, we're going to retest this 3280 mark. You can see we've already bounced a little bit, but I still think that we head lower and test that support level. Now, what I'm worried about for tomorrow morning is that it's only 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. Now, if we rally overnight, maybe fill the gap, then put in a lower high, that sets the stage for a rollover. Again, we're using a 4-hour chart here. A rollover into tomorrow morning. So what I like to do at these times is set up my resistance levels, because once we rally up and into them, then you look and see whether or not it's safe to go leaning into the short side. And we're already short of the trip Qs. That's the NASDAQ 100. A lot of technical damage done here overnight. So we'll be looking for a rally up and into these two declining upper bands of resistance on the S&P 500. Who would have thought that would have been said 2 weeks ago? Now we're dealing with lower highs and lower lows. I don't know if the daily chart, it is updated. Is this today? Yeah, it is. Okay, good. So this is as of today. Daily chart. Watch for the support level to hold here. I think they'll try to rally it off of 3284. So we have more downside to go here. But they're going to have to hold the support level. Because if it fails, we're coming down here. That's not really what I wanted to do. Here. Let's just draw an alert. I can't get 2 data points. Right here. 3212. And that would be a hell of a drop. Not good. I suspect that between now and the open tomorrow, we're going to get some spin out of Washington. They'll try to generate some positive headlines, because this can get ugly really, really fast. And down 1% is nothing if they lose control of this. What else do we have? Bitcoin. Where is it? Bitcoin. Wrong chart, sorry. Oh, we have a whole bunch of people. Hey, folks, if I could ask you to hit the like button, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you very much. It helps me out with YouTube. Bitcoin breaking out. Big, big breakout tonight. been under a bit of pressure these past couple of days. A lot of volatility in Bitcoin of late. Nice breakout here. It's being validated by RSI. Up 3.3%. Looking very, very good. Liking Bitcoin. So breakout out of a triangle formation. Looking good. Like it. If we pull back and do a retest, we may add to our position on Bitcoin. Very nice. So Bitcoin looking very good. What else do we have? Oh, SPCE has earnings on Tuesday. Good info. STMP. Let's take a look at it. Is the move for real? Stamps.com. What do they do? Report earnings? I can't find a good headline. Share surge, fourth quarter, handily tops. Right, so they had good earnings. So this is setting up to be a short. Monthly chart, market's falling apart. I don't care how good your earnings are. Microsoft had great earnings. They're pulling back now as well. So, yes, we have broken out above the upper band of resistance. We have been in a downtrend. The question is, with 5 trading days left to go, do we close above this current resistance level or support? It should act as support now, next month when it opens up. If it does hold that support level next month on a retest, then maybe it's for real. Right now, it's purely speculative. And what concerns me most, let's go to the weekly chart first. Wow, it's not even just a daily chart. You're trading above the third standard deviation Bollinger Band on a weekly basis and on a daily basis. And you saw sellers move in on Friday and take it off the high. So that's profit taking. I can't see how it holds this momentum while the market is under this type of pressure, assuming that it stays under pressure. I don't want to be an alarmist. Assuming that it will stay under pressure, how it holds this momentum based upon an earnings report. And if it doesn't hold this momentum for a couple of trading days, that takes you back to the monthly view. Does it hold the support level? Maybe, maybe not. If it pulls back and closes back down below this current support level, that's going to be a problem. It's support on a weekly basis. Right there. So we closed out the week, last week above it. If we fail to hold it this week, that's a breakout point failure. And you can see a major sell-off on STMP. I would not be a buyer of these shares. So I would be very, very cautious right now. Highly speculative. Let's go back to the futures. We'll scroll through. We'll go with the dollar first. dollar's still holding in there. Fighting back a bit. Gold. Well off the highs of the session. No shock there. RSI still at 91. Hey, Craig. You got it, buddy. Let's go with the NASDAQ 100. Let's go. We'll go to the 500. Attempting to fight back here. Here's a 5-minute chart. Looks like we have a dead cat bounce. We'll probably break and move down to the support level here. Bonds. Off the highs of the session, no shock. Look at my NASDAQ 100s. They disappeared. All right, so we hit support on the NASDAQ 100, or very close to it, and we're bouncing a bit right now. RSI's come off a little bit here. All right, so I think that we're going to bounce. The question is, do we rally up and into resistance and then roll back over again? It all depends upon the headlines going into tomorrow morning. You know that they're cooking up some sort of a scheme to try to pump these markets up higher and not allow them to go into free fall. So expect something out of Washington. Probably some good news on the coronavirus. They have it under control. Maybe a new vaccine, whatever the stuff they make up. Go with the Dow. Dow's off of its lows a little bit here. All right, so I think we've seen the volatility lighten up a little bit. And we'll see what tomorrow brings, folks. And with that, I'm going to go over EGO. All right, Roku and EGO, and that's going to be it for tonight. Probably, yeah. You know, he was on CNBC or either Bloomberg or CNBC, I forget which, on Friday. He mentioned nothing about the PMI data. Everything was green shoots. Nothing about the PMI data. Roku. Let's go with monthly first. Ugh. Got some trouble here. Flirting with a breakdown. Weekly chart, very similar. Daily chart. You know, we make a new weekly low, and you're going to see stop loss orders get triggered. I would avoid these shares. In this market environment, I would avoid these shares. A lot of selling pressure here. 4-hour chart. As a matter of fact, let's go to a raindrop chart. For those not familiar with raindrop charts, It's a mixture of VWAP, volume weighted moving average. And this is what I was concerned about. The left side of the candlestick here, or the raindrop, is the morning session. The right side is the afternoon session. When you see a big belly, I call it a pregnant raindrop or a pregnant candlestick. That means that you're seeing selling late in the day. And that's a sign of distribution by institutions, because that's when they sell, late in the day. So not a good day on Friday. Let's stick with the raindrops, 4-hour basis. A little bit of buying at the close. RSI is weak. I would avoid right now. In this market environment, you could. If the market were healthy in a strong uptrend, I would say, okay, we're at support. You want to put on a nibble, put on a few shares, fine. Just use a stop loss. Don't allow it to make a new weekly low and stay long. But right now, time just to do nothing. Do nothing. Just watch. Pat, are we still in that Amazon put? Yeah, sure. Yeah, absolutely. And if we gap down tomorrow, I'm probably going to look to book profits on that, Pat. You bet, David. What was the other one? INSG we did. Roku. EGO. Eldorado Gold. I knew it sounded familiar. Yeah. An absolutely stunning chart. Beautiful. If there's poetry on a chart, this is it. We're breaking out a very sound base. Here's what a downward sloping handle looks like. Not that this is a coupled handle. Well, actually, you could argue that it is. Yeah, it is a coupled handle formation. So here you have a cup or a saucer, however you want to define it. Doesn't matter. Call it a cupcake. I don't care. We broke out. We have broken above the pivot point. And it looks as though we are going higher here on a monthly basis. RSI validating. Stokes are validating. Weekly chart. Beautiful breakout here. We are up and into the third standard deviation Bollinger Band. A little bit of a concern. Daily chart. Very extended here. All right, so we don't want to speak our book, right? If it's extended, we book some profits. We make them real. We get a pullback. We buy back. It's simple as that. So, me personally, I would be looking to make some profits real here. I would not be initiating a new trade. Allow for a pullback. We're going to get a pullback. I know everything is doom and gloom right now. People are thinking, wow, there's fear of missing out, FOMO, got to buy gold. Don't do it. And I am long the gold miners. I want people to go running in. Not my viewers, but other people. I don't want you to get hurt. Don't do it. You're going to get a pullback. This time next week, you'll be looking back on this video. I'll do a replay. And you'll see. We'll pull back off of the highs. This evening session here, as dramatic as it is, and no doubt it is dramatic. Here's gold. Very strong. New multi-year highs. The highest high since 2013. But we're already pulling back. We're overbought on a daily chart. So please, please, patience. Let these shares pull back in. RSI on a daily basis is at 81. You're going to get a pullback soon. So don't go chasing, please. And with that, folks, I'm going to say good night to everybody. Everybody have a profitable trading week. If I could ask you to hit that like button, I'd really appreciate it. Share with a friend, leave a comment. And everybody have, again, a profitable trading week. Have a great night. Be well. Thanks for joining. Thank you, Richard. Appreciate that. Have a great night, Rich.